Good morning, children. This is lecture 2 of the chapter Elements and Compounds. This lecture has been divided into two parts, lecture 2A and lecture 2B. This video is for lecture 2A and the next video you will get for lecture 2B. After finishing 2A and 2B, we will switch over to lecture 3. In the last video, we have discussed about the matter, elements, symbol of some elements, atoms and molecules, the structure of atom, the atomic number and atomic mass. Some more facts about elements. Elements are reactive in nature. Some are very reactive and some are less reactive. But generally, metals are very reactive in nature. So the most reactive metal is potassium and least reactive metal is platinum. And gold is also very less reactive. Okay, gold is also not reacting with anything. But these two you have to remember, the most reactive metal, that is potassium, and least reactive metal is platinum. Now see this one. The order of arrangement of metals in a vertical column in order of their decreasing reactivity downwards is called activity series or reactivity series. This is very important. Reactivity series or it is known as activity series, whatever it may be. This is very important. What is that? The metals in their decreasing order of reactivity, it is arranged in a column. Some of the metals, they're arranged in a column. In the next slide, I'll show you that. But that column, that the metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity, the reactivity series you have to learn, because it is very important to know. Okay, let us see what is there in the next slide. See, in this slide, some metals we have taken and the reactivity series of that metal is given. I'm just explaining what actually it is. This is partial reactivity. Partial means all the metals I have not taken. Some of the metals I have taken. Okay, and these are the metals actually whose reactivity we are learning. We are not learning for all the metals. So, see that the metals we have taken, this is the reactivity series of metal. Okay, don't forget that. Now, this is the decreasing order. See the arrow? This is the decreasing order. That means the first one is more reactive and the last one is least reactive. Okay, see, these are the metal: potassium, then sodium, then calcium, then magnesium, then aluminium, then zinc, then iron, then nickel, then stannum. That means it is tin. Why it is called stannum? All these things we will study after some time. Okay. Lead, then hydrogen, then copper, then mercury, then silver, then gold, then platinum. Okay. So, potassium, and in this table I have given you the symbol of these elements. Potassium is, the symbol of potassium is K. The symbol of sodium is Na. The symbol of calcium is Ca. Magnesium is Mg. Aluminium is Al. Zinc is Zn. Iron is Fe. Nickel is Ni. Stannum is Sn. And it is stannum, so I have taken Sn. It is not I have taken, this is a symbol. Lead is Pb. Hydrogen is H. Copper is Cu. Mercury is Hg. Silver is Ag. Gold is Au. And platinum is Pt. How to remember that? How to remember these elements or these metals in the reactivity series? How we can remember that? For that, I am just giving you a clue. See in the third column, I have written a phrase. This one. This is a phrase. This one. Just see that. Please stop calling me a zebra. It's not so lovely. Hey, call me something good, please. I think you can remember this. Okay, I think you can remember this. So, again I am repeating what I have written. I have written, please stop calling me a zebra. It's not so lovely. Hey, call me something good, please. Okay, now see, from please is potassium. Stop is sodium. Calling is calcium. Me, M is magnesium. A is aluminium. Zebra, Z is zinc. Its, I is iron. Not, N is nickel. So, S is stannum. Lovely, L is lead. Hey, H is hydrogen. Call, C is copper. Me, M is mercury. Something, S is silver. Good, G is gold. Please, P is platinum. So I think it is very easy to remember. Please stop calling me a zebra. It's not so lovely. Hey, call me something good, please. Okay, it's easy to remember. You have to learn it along with the symbol. Am I clear? Pure substances and impure substances. Let us see what is pure substance. These are the substances that have a fixed composition and homogeneous in nature. Pure substances can be further classified into elements and compounds. A pure substance is made up of one kind of particle. These particles may be either atoms or molecules. To remember what is atom and what is a molecule, I explained this in the last video. A pure substance which is made up of one kind of atom is called element. One kind of atom. While a pure substance that is made up of more than one kind of atom is known as compound. Okay, now so many new things are here. It is having a fixed composition, homogeneous in nature, elements, compounds, so many new words are here. Now I am going to explain all these things in the following slides. What is a compound? What do you understand by fixed composition? All these things I will explain to you in the following slides. Okay, only the word homogeneous, and here another word is heterogeneous. These two will not be discussed in this chapter. So in a very short, I am telling you what is homogeneous and what is heterogeneous. Homogeneous means it is same throughout, the same composition throughout. Suppose you are taking a glass of water and then you are mixing 1 spoon of sugar in it. And then you mix that sugar in water. After mixing, just you take 1 spoon of that sugar water from anywhere from the glass. You will find the same taste throughout. That means sugar is dissolved properly throughout the water. This is known as homogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous means, suppose you are taking rice in a bowl and then you add some stone in it. Okay. Now the amount of the stone that you are mixing in the rice, it is not having any fixed ratio. In any ratio you can mix. And throughout the bowl, the composition of this rice and the stone is not same. That is known as heterogeneous. Now this homogeneous and heterogeneous, the next chapter when we will do, then it is a chapter of mixture where this homogeneous and heterogeneous will come, and there we will talk about this. Okay. Impure substance. These are the substances that do not have fixed composition. I'll explain to you what is that. Okay. These are also called mixtures. Mixture may be further classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous, as I told you. Okay. So let me see what is there in the next slide. See, I told you about the compound. I'll tell you what is a compound. A compound is a substance produced by the combination of 2 or more elements through a chemical process in a fixed proportion by mass. What is that? A compound is a substance produced by the combination of 2 or more elements. That means to form a compound, you need to have 2 or more elements. I'll give you the example of water here. Let me first read what are the points given, and then I will give you the example of water. Now, combining elements lose their original properties and produce a new substance with different property. That means the elements with which a compound is formed, those elements, they lose their property, original property, and it produces a new substance with new property. Okay. Number 3, a compound may be broken into combining elements. You can break that compound into combining elements through a chemical process.
but not by physical means. That means suppose you want to just hand pick, you want to separate the thing by hand picking, you cannot do that. That is a physical method. Suppose you are having a mixture of sand and iron filings. What is iron filings? The powder of iron. Okay. Bring one magnet and just roll that magnet over the mixture. The iron filings will attract it towards the magnet. This is a physical method. So with the physical method, you cannot break the compound into its combining element. For that, you have to need some chemical process. That means you have to pass electricity or something you have to do. Fourth, a compound may be expressed by a formula. That means every compound is having a formula. Now, let me explain all the points with the example of water. Water. You all know water. The chemical formula of water is H2O. Now, this is a compound. Why this is a compound? Because see H2O, when H2O I am writing and before H2O nothing is there, that means 1 is there. This is known as one molecule of water. And from the last video, you have understood that the molecules are made up of atoms. So here, one molecule, listen to me very carefully, of water, that is H2O, is made up of how many? Two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So to prepare one molecule of water, you have to add or two atoms of hydrogen should be react with one atom of oxygen. And another thing, you are taking two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen in two hands. You are just mixing these two. These two are gases, okay? Now you are mixing hydrogen and oxygen. You are mixing these two with, you are taking this in two hands and water will not form. For that, again we have to pass electricity. This is also a chemical process. Now, after the formation of water, now if you want to break the water into hydrogen and oxygen, take some water and just pull it from two sides and just try to break it into hydrogen and oxygen. That is also not possible. For that, again you have to pass electricity. And when you are drinking water, are you getting the taste of hydrogen gas and oxygen gas? No, you are getting a totally different thing. That means a totally new substance is forming. Hydrogen and oxygen, they are losing their original property and a totally new thing is forming with a different property. These two are the gases and we are getting a liquid, that is water. Okay, so when you will go to the higher classes, you will come to know about all these things more clearly. And it is having a formula. the formula of water is H2O. If you'll write O2H by mistake, suppose, this is wrong. The formula of water is H2O. So it is having a particular formula. See the example what I have written here. The same thing what I have told you is written here. The formula of water is H2O. This means two atoms of hydrogen combined with one atom of oxygen to produce one molecule of water. Similarly, if I am talking about carbon dioxide, it's a gas. The formula of carbon dioxide is CO2. It's having a particular formula. If I'll write CO2, it means one molecule of CO2. If I'll write CO2, it is one molecule of CO2. If I'll write like this, 2CO2, this means two molecules of CO2, carbon dioxide. This means that one atom of carbon, see one atom of carbon combined with two atoms of oxygen to produce one molecule of carbon dioxide. And it is having a particular formula, CO2. Okay, so have you understood what is a compound? Now let us see what are the properties of compound. A compound composed of atoms of two or more different elements combined together in a fixed proportion by mass. I told you that to form one molecule of water, we need two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. And the mass is also fixed. Okay. The properties of compound are altogether different from those of its constituent. That also I explained to you. The constituents of compound cannot be separated by physical method. I told you that for chemical methods are required. You cannot separate the constituents of compound by physical method. And lastly, a compound has a fixed formula. One molecule of water the formula is H2O. Wherever you go, you take water, you will get the same composition, that is two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. They combine together to give you one molecule of H2O. It is always same, fixed. See here, I have taken the example of water. Why water is a compound? Already I have explained it to you once again. Two atoms of hydrogen chemically combine with one atom of oxygen to produce one molecule of water. I told you this thing. Now, why water is a compound? Water is a compound because, number one, physical mixing of hydrogen and oxygen does not produce water. If you mix it physically, it will not give you water. Electricity is needed for chemical combination. Next is the property of water is completely different from hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen are gases and water is a liquid at room temperature. I told you this thing, that when a compound is forming, the constituent particles, they losing their original property and forming a new thing with a new property. The last one, water cannot be broken into hydrogen and oxygen by physical means. For that, electricity is required. This all I already explained. See, in this slide, I have shown some example of compounds. Ammonium chloride is a compound. The formula is NaCl. H4Cl. Okay, that means 1 atom of nitrogen, 4 atom of hydrogen and 1 atom of chlorine combined together to give you 1 molecule of ammonium chloride. What are the constituents present here? Nitrogen, hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, next is sugar. The formula of sugar is C12H22O11. This is 1 molecule of sugar. 1 molecule of sugar. 1 molecule of sugar is formed by 12 atoms of carbon, 22 atoms of hydrogen and 11 atoms of oxygen. So what are the constituents present in sugar? You can get this question. Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Table salt. The salt that every day we are eating. This is NaCl formula. This is made up of sodium metal and chlorine gas. But when we are getting, then it is totally different thing from sodium metal and chlorine gas. Water with hydrogen and oxygen, water is formed. These are the constituents. Okay. See, this is molecules of some compounds. The compound is carbon dioxide. The formula is CO2. Atoms in one molecule, this is one molecule because nothing is given, that means one CO2, one molecule. What are the atoms present? 1 atom of carbon and 2 atom of oxygen. C, 1 atom of carbon and 2 atom of oxygen. Okay, 1 atom of carbon, 2 atom of oxygen. Water, H2O. 1 atom of oxygen and 2 atoms of hydrogen in one molecule of H2O. Hydrogen peroxide, it is H2O2. 2 hydrogen atom and 2 oxygen atoms is giving you 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen chloride, formula is HCl. 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of chlorine is giving you 1 molecule of hydrogen chloride. Magnesium oxide, MgO, the formula. Magnesium 1 atom and oxygen 1 atom. Ammonia, the formula is NH3. In 1 molecule of NH3, 1 atom of nitrogen and 3 atom of hydrogen are present. Sodium hydroxide, the formula is NaOH. 1 atom of sodium, 1 atom of oxygen and 1 atom of hydrogen are present. Am I clear, children? This is an experiment to prove that compound has different properties than mixture. For this, what we have done, we have taken, this is a sulfur and these are iron filings. I told you this. Now, take some iron filing and mix them in sulfur. I'm mixing iron filing and sulfur on a watch glass. Watch glass is a glass plate. Now bring a magnet close to the mixture. Observe what happened. See, a magnet is bringing one magnet here. Take a small amount of mixture from the watch glass in a test tube and heat it over a Bunsen burner. Now see, take some amount of this mixture in a test tube and heat it also. Two experiments we are doing. One experiment we are taking iron and sulfur mixture and bring one magnet. And another experiment, take a little bit from here and just heat it in a test tube. Okay, after heating, what will happen? You can see a black mass here. This will form a black mass will form. Okay, and this black mass is of iron sulfide. When we are heating it, the chemical reaction is taking place, and because of that, iron and sulfur mix together to give you iron sulfide. Now you bring a magnet. Just take it out and bring a magnet near this compound. And now see the change, what is happening. In this one, the first one, in this one, when you are bringing a magnet, the iron filling will get attracted towards the magnet. Okay. And when you are bringing a magnet now after the reaction, this is after the reaction, if you are bringing a magnet in iron sulfide, you will see that nothing is happening. The iron sulfide does not get attracted towards the magnet. So from these two, what we can say, iron filling and sulfur have different properties. When mixed together, they form a mixture. Okay, and the mixture shows the properties of its constituent element, and that is why the iron was getting attracted towards the magnet. But iron sulfide, after the chemical reaction, when iron sulfide is formed, it is become a compound. It is formed a compound, totally new thing. The properties of iron and sulfur is not present there. Okay, it loses its property and a totally new thing is formed, which is known as iron sulfide. And as its property is different from iron and sulfur, it is not being attracted towards the magnet. So when we are just mixing it, it is a mixture. All the properties are retained. But when we are heating it, it becomes a compound. It is becoming this is a compound. So the properties, original substance, original constituent particles, they lose their properties. Totally a new thing is formed. And that is why compound. That is why it is not being attracted towards the magnet. Am I clear? Differences between elements and compounds. Now, elements are made up of one kind of atom. Oxygen is made up of only with oxygen atom. Compounds are made up of atoms of two or more different elements. They cannot be broken into simpler substance by physical or chemical method. The elements cannot be broken down into simpler substance by physical or chemical method. But compounds, they can be broken into simpler substance by chemical method. Now, for element, they have their own set of properties. Compounds, their properties differ from those of constituent elements. You have understood that. Okay, so these are the differences between elements and compounds.
Next video you will get for lecture 2B. Topics to be covered in lecture 2B: valency, formula of a compound, rules for writing formula, and atomicity of molecule.